Good morning, fellow Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I would like to start this meeting with the pledge to the flag. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we do have a few words of inspiration from Nancy Rose, who volunteered. Nancy.
Thank you. Toastmasters and guests. With Inspiration Master, I wanted to prepare for the role by learning a little bit more about speech contests. And much to my surprise, the answer really surprised me because according to Dodgy World, a reference company, the first world's competition was in 1938, and it was referenced as Toastmasters. And now it's grown to over 149 countries around the world with 50,000 participants. So that leaves me to the importance of competition and how it can empower us to do our best. And I will leave you with words from a very famous person who understood competition, Howard Cosell. He said the ultimate victory in competition is derived from the inner satisfaction of knowing that you've done your best and that you've gotten the most out of what you have to give. So back to you, Dr. Gerald Stevens, our president. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, for the inspiration. Those of you who haven't been to a contest, it's a little different structure, but the contest master, who is Kate Orr, will act as the sort of like a Toastmaster, but a different structure completely. Kate, are you ready? All right, so we're gonna please welcome Kate Orr up.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And thank you, Nancy Rose, for our words of inspiration this morning. I think we always should have Inspiration Master during a contest. I don't think that we always do that. We are here to inspire one another. And I already learned from you today. We are here to learn from one another. And that was an interesting trivia tidbit. I have to say, I don't have an agenda for today, a printed agenda. Somewhat because I was focused so much on the other paperwork, and so somewhat because I haven't been here in person in so long. Remember when we started coming back in person and it was challenging for the agendas to be printed like they used to be, and we had a little, well, there I was stuck in that again. So Len tried to remind me yesterday, but I didn't get that reminder in time. And so I will just point out that we have two contests kind of today. The plan has been international and the Tall Tales contests. That's happening district-wide. So here we are with our club contest. And then in the last 48 hours, we had a bit of a change up with the lineup. So for the international competition today, Eric is our only contestant. So he will be speaking. We could send him, some clubs just send a representative to the next level, which is in 2 weeks on that Saturday of January 28th is the Area 11 contest. I'll say that again, and we'll put it in the recap email. But he will practice today with his speech. So it is practice for the next level for him. So we will forego the contest formalities and some of the ways he had to fill out the paperwork, and that is done, except that I would request that our entire audience give Eric feedback. So if you could give feedback for him to then represent us in the international contest at the next, that would be awesome. You also could then, for the second part of our contest for Tall Tales, give feedback to all of our contestants today as well. We did a draw for lineup during the briefing. So our order has already been communicated to most of the folks, except I will say the order of the three contestants. We have speaker number 1 for Tall Tales will be Thomas Heldwine. So Thomas is our first speaker. Our second speaker is David Licata. And then our third speaker is Gerald Stevens. So Thomas, then David, and then Gerald. Everyone is in person today who is a roll holder, except Mike Florio, who is our timer on Zoom, and Marty Johnston is our timer in person. We have our Chief Judge, Jackie, who knows so much about what's happening. So I really want to give a round of applause to all of our roll holders and contestants to really launch our meeting in the right direction. So the timers have been briefed. Mike, just so you heard that, since the briefing, it's only Eric for international. So we'll still put the timer up 5 to 7. Once he hits the 7:30, he stops talking if he's still going, because we don't want him to disqualify by time, because this is an official contest. So he can't go under or go over. So you're still going to do the background lights at the 5, 6, 7 like we briefed, and Marty will follow suit with copying yours here as backup in the room. So our speakers can look to the screen or the light to be prepared. Our speaking area is as it always has been. It can be the lectern or move back to use the space that's on our rug here in person. I would wonder if anybody has any questions at this point. So the first half will be international, and that will be Eric speaking. And then we'll have a break, and I'll interview him while the judges' encounters take care of in the next room, the conference room, well, I guess you're not going to do that, are you? So never mind. So there isn't a break then. We'll do all the interviews towards the end. So we'll do all 4 interviews after the second section. So the second section will be our second part will be the Tall Tales competition. Mr. Licata, questions, sir?
Adam, contest master. Lavalier mic working?
Dr. Stevens practiced with something. You two were working on, and we're good to go? All right. Well, so there's a difference in the terminology. That's not technically a lavalier, right? That's the headset. Do we have the lavalier is like the little clip-on. We used to, but anyway, just so you know, it's a headset version. You could wear it around your neck because then it just has the microphone up, so you do what you're comfortable with. But we'll have time to go over that. We'll let the sirens go by and think about whoever is dealing with that and hope that everything is the best. Thanks for the jokes on the side. I guess I should also say for everybody is in here, I'll do one more introduction of who's here. On Zoom, we have Phil Russell and Jennifer Zappala and Mike Florio. Here in person, we have Marty and Eric, Sylvia, Jackie, Nancy, Ferry, and Nancy Rose, Beth, Tracy, Mark, Thomas, Steve, Gerald, Len, myself. Have I forgotten anyone who is stepping to the side? Oh, and another announcement. Thank you again, Sylvia, for always being here to set up and have coffee and have us comfortable in here with the heat going. And Mark brought a lovely breakfast. There's a lovely, some kind of a holiday treat. What is that? Oh, Italian cake. His wife said, we have this, but you have to take it out of this house. So he brought it for us. There's some lovely jams and a beautiful vanilla Italian cake. So thank you for a little breakfast. So feel free to go to that, but please don't get up too much during the contest itself. All right. Any more questions? Oh, I'm never supposed to leave the lectern, but I have to because I left one form on my desk. One moment. Timers, are you ready? Actually, Mike, can you show, you did this before we started, but can you show everyone your green, yellow, red again so they can see your background? So practice that. Okay, can everybody see those lights then? Everyone's good? Okay. All right. Now I would love to welcome Eric up to the lectern. I'll introduce him. Eric Schneider, My Platelet Donation Journey. My Platelet Donation Journey, Eric Schneider. All righty.
Can I hear me okay? Okay. Yes. Ma'am, contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and fellow Toastmasters on Zoom. I'm going to take you back 2 years ago, Monday. I made my very first platelet donation since August of 2017. Now, many of you are wondering how this came about. Well, I'm going to tell you. One night, it was a few weeks before school started because it had to be later in February. I was going online to see when was the last time I donated platelets. And it said the last time I did it was in August of 2017 at the Eastern Hills Mall location. So I'm like, okay, let me give this another shot. Go online, trying to remember what my login password was. And I looked and I'm like, there's one the next day, Saturday, January 9th. So filled out all the information. And then the next morning I went. It was at 7 in the morning. Yes, because I feel like it's like Toastmasters. We get up at that time and we go and do it. And I got there. Luckily, I know somebody who works there, who I graduated high school with. So it made me feel more comfortable that I know somebody who works as a phlebotomist at Connect Life. So what did I do? I got my registration, did my questionnaire, and had to take my vitals, blood pressure, height, weight, pulse, iron levels, which is very, very important when donating platelets or blood or double reds. And got there, sat down on a chair, got me all ready to go. What they had to do is they had to swab chloroprep on my arm. So it'll be easier to slide the needle into the arm and hopefully it doesn't hurt my arm while the blood pressure cuff is squeezing my arm and let the blood flow. Sitting there for 2 hours was good. You have to make sure, though, you have to go to the bathroom before you donate. I've learned that mistake a few times before. While I'm donating, I can chit chat with the staff. I can watch TV on my phone or on their actual TV. I'll sit there, I'll watch Hulu. I'll watch MASH, or most recently, I just watch Home Improvement because I always watch the TV. The other people just looks at their phones and just, relax. But it makes me feel good though because donating platelets is a must. Because right now, platelets, double reds, whole blood is in dire need. And after the blizzard hit, I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta help this Western New York community with blood and platelets and double reds. Hey, why not take all? Why not take blood and platelets and double reds out of me? Hey, if I faint, at least I know I did good though. But over the past 2 years, I've been doing this. I have donated 42 times. And people think I'm crazy. Yeah, I am crazy, but it's crazy in a good way. Because we are City of Good Neighbors. And helping with Connect Life, I feel like I'm an ambassador to this organization. And I've been like part of their promotions. Like back in July, we did a Bills promotion. Bills tickets, getting a hat, or anything that was Bills related. I did a video. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I did a video promoting their July sponsor. And it felt good because I had never been on the field at Highmark Stadium before. That was amazing. Being in the Bills locker room doing the promotion, that was a big plus. And one of the girls who were doing the same promotion as I was, she was so shocked that I did it only in one take. So, and she went like this. I'm like, no, don't do that. She was like bowing, like, because I did an excellent job. So fellow Toastmasters, if you know somebody who wants to donate platelets, blood, or double reds, it's worth it. If they are interested, go online, sign up. and you will not be disappointed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric. Bravo. We'll get a timers report now. This is kind of a merging of a traditional, since this was a practice run, we might as well get a timers report so we have that you qualified. It certainly looked like it. Mr. Florio, how was the time for the speech?
Eric's time was 5:39.69.
Bravo. Eric is our representative from AM Lockport in 2.5 weeks. All right. So please give feedback to Eric. If you could use scrap paper or use the ballots, tear that off, give him some feedback for how to represent us best. We will now segue into our contest that is Tall Tales. I have all the paperwork officially from our speakers. Again, the order will be Thomas, and then David, and then Gerald. Can I know from all three of you, does this need to get moved? So Thomas first, you'll use the lectern. David, does this need, you want it moved out of the way? And then Gerald, you want it moved out of the way also? So from the second to the third during that minute of silence, we'll just keep it separate, and I'll just use the microphone to introduce you. But for the first one, you want to do the same? Sure. You don't have to do it. You make it for you. This is for you. Okay, so we're going to do it for all three. Lynn, did you hear that? So all three are going to have this moved out of the way. No problem at all. So let's get back to the contest. I would like to officially start our contest for tabletop or for Tall Tales. I've been calling this Tall Tales during the entire briefing. On Tuesday night, I kept calling it Table Topics. Which is also a contest, which we might do in the future. But this was voted on by District 65 that we'll do the Tall Tales. So this is exciting. It is I'm going through all of supposed to look those things ahead of time. Okay, Tall Tales Speech Contest. We will now begin the Tall Tales Speech Contest. I would like to read the purpose of the contest as defined by Toastmasters. To provide an opportunity for speakers to improve their speaking abilities, to provide an opportunity to learn by observing the more proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training, to provide participants with the opportunity to create an original, highly improbable, humorous tale. Again, we've said the order. It has been confirmed that all contestants are eligible and that all judges are eligible. All speeches are original and highly exaggerated. Speakers may stay in the room or you may choose to leave the room during the contest. That's your choice. No one is allowed in or out of the room once the contest has begun. We're a little less strict about that if someone were to come in, but no one will come in on Zoom. The time of the Tall Tale speech is 3 to 5 minutes. Any speaker speaking less than 2:30 or more than 5:30 will be disqualified. There is the 30-second buffer. The timing lights on the screen and here in the room will be activated. Green at 3 minutes, yellow at 4 minutes, red at 5 minutes, and will stay on until the speaker has finished speaking. No notice shall be given should a speaker go over time, not like during a regular meeting where we start making motions at each other. That is up to the speaker. There will be 1 minute of silence between speakers so the judges may complete their forms, and judges have been instructed to not consider timing in their judging forms. The 1 minute of silence will then be marked by the timer light. Mr. Florio on screen, you'll do the 1 minute of silence after each speaker and 2 minutes of silence after the final speaker so the judges can finish their ballots. And I will get right into this now. Any questions before we go in? Are you here to assist with this? Okay, excellent. So let's do the moving. And then I'll introduce the speaker and the title in a moment. Perfect.
Thomas Hellwine. Hellwines woven into the fabric of our country. Hellwines woven into the fabric of our country. Thomas Hellwine.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, my fellow Toastmasters. How many people have done 23andMe or Ancestry.com? Right, a lot of us. Well, it solidified a lot of the stories my family has been telling through the generations. And I actually got to find the actual names, birth dates, and information on these people. So I have that. And I couldn't believe that it actually matched up so well. It goes all the way back to the 1650. That was when Christopher Heldwine was born. He was born in Europe. He hadn't come over yet. 1650 is a little early for people to be in America. But he was in Europe, and he was a boat maker. Not only any normal boat maker, he had what we call the Heldwine gene. It's a recessive gene. It gives you some kind of super ability. He was tough. You thought Chuck Norris was tough? He was tougher. All right? He was a mean, lean guy. Well, what happened to him was he, as a boat maker, decided to start making canoes because European materials were better at that time. So he would go get Norwegian spruce, and he wouldn't just cut it down the normal way. He'd use a butter knife and cut that thing down, right? The canvas, well, he would waterproof it with his own earwax to make it totally waterproof. The nails he would take out of the forge, burning hot, and put them in his teeth and twist them so that when he drove them in with his fist, they would really hold up. These were the best canoes in the entire world. Well, two explorers, LaSalle and Hennepin, bought canoes from him because they were going to explore North America. And as we all know, or should know, they discovered Niagara Falls. Well, let's go forward 100 years. Not going to be male only. Anna Heldwine. Anna Heldwine, she was born, what year was that? I believe it was 1770. Yeah, 1770. So she was born in 1770, and she was the Heldwine gene recipient. This recessive gene showed up. She was tall. She was super tall, right? She was 7 foot tall at the age of 14. By the time she was like 27 in 1777, you may remember something happened in 1776, but 1777, she was almost 9 foot tall. She had this beautiful cotton dress, blood red, she wore it everywhere. Well, she was on her way to her friend Bessie's house for a sewing bee, and sure enough, she got attacked by a bear. She was running through the woods, the bear was chasing her. Luckily, her dress caught on a tree branch, and it's hanging there, and she dove in her knickers into a lake. That bear grabbed and ripped that dress. Well, its claws hit the outside, the other 3 went down the center, making 7 perfect stripes. 6 foot of dress up to the top and bottom, 7 red stripes. She went to Betsy Ross's house, and those are the red stripes in the first American flag. Then we go forward another 100 years. That's Christopher. Now, Christopher, he was a big, big guy. Oh, and he had a loud, loud voice. He was so loud, Santa Claus could hear him at the North Pole. And he was in the Civil War. He was at Gettysburg, Battle of Little Big Top. Now, as a big, loud guy, his job, he was a professional taunter. If you've ever watched Monty Python, you know, go away or I will taunt you a second time. I cannot tell you the taunts he said necessarily because they're not good for good company. But he said, we have the high ground. You underestimate our power. Don't do it. Well, the rebels came up the hill, and history has it that they won the day. Near the end of the battle, he screamed so loud, he knocked the red and blue off the Confederate flag, and it was nothing but white, winning the day. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
1 minute of silence, Mr. Connor, please. So back to black on the timing, and we'll turn to green when we hit 1 minute. Thank you.
And that is 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. All judges are set. Seeing nothing from the chief judge, we will move on. Our second contestant today, David Licata, the devotee of Saint Joseph, the devotee of Saint Joseph, David Licata. Devotee, there we go, the devotee of Saint Joseph.
Grazie. Buongiorno, grazie. My name is Giuseppe Angeloni. I come from a little village over by Aguila, Italy. We're kind of in the middle, Mezzogiorno, not too far north, not too far south. So I want to share with you a little bit about myself and what happened to me. The situation was this. I was baptized in the parish church in my village, which naturally was St. Joseph, because that he is indeed the patron saint of St. Joseph of Italy. So then my parents, they named me Giuseppe, just like St. Joseph, and I developed a real kinship for St. Joseph. But it got me in a little bit of trouble, because when I gave money to the church, it was in the name of San Giuseppe. When I lit a candle, it was in the name of San Giuseppe. And when I gave alms to the poor, it was in the name of Saint Joseph, Saint Giuseppe. Well, naturally, I'm a carpenter, just like my patron saint. And one day, I got a job over at the olive pressing plant, where they process the olives for the olive oil. And I was getting ready to fix what had to be fixed. And I looked at the conveyor belt, and I saw an olive with the face of St. Giuseppe on it. Well, I became very, very excited. And I went to reach for the olive, but I wasn't paying too much attention to my excitement. The press came down, and I was killed. Well, all of a sudden, I found myself on this very slow escalator. Thank God it was going up. So I said, I think something terrible happened. I think I'm dead. But then I got a wonderful sense of excitement, because now I could meet my patron saint, Saint Giuseppe. So I got to the pearly gates, and I go in and meet, a dream come true. I'm going to meet Saint Giuseppe in person. I got to the pearly gates, and Saint Pietro, he says, "Hey, Giuseppe, not so fast." I said, "What?" He said, Giuseppe, you didn't care about the Holy Trinity. You didn't care about God the Father, God the Son, the Holy Spirit, the Blessed Virgin. All you cared about was St. Joseph. So you're not getting in. And I said, oh, St. Joe, what am I going to do? This is terrible. So I quickly turned to St. Peter and I said, listen, can I hang around a little bit to maybe meet this St. Joseph? And St. Peter said, yeah, okay, I'll go get him. Well, a couple minutes go by, here comes St. Peter and St. Giuseppe. I knew it was St. Giuseppe because he had a tool belt just like me. So he goes, he spots me. He says, Giuseppe, welcome. We're going to be together forever in paradise. I said, I'm sorry, St. Joseph. St. Peter won't let me in. St. Joseph is astounded. He said, why not? Well, then I pretty much told St. Joseph the same story I told you. St. Joseph said, just a minute. He went over, he got in an argument with St. Peter. Oh, they went back and forth. They're making gestures. It was terrible. And all of a sudden it got done. It was settled. St. Joseph goes, come here. We're going in. I said, what did you tell them? How did you pull this off, St. Giuseppe? He said, I said to St. Peter, I said, look, Peter, if you're going to let my devotee in, I'm going to take my wife and my boy out of here, and you're going to have to relocate. Madam Contest Master.
1 minute of silence, please. Screen back to black for timer, and green until 1 minute.
And that is 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Our third and final contestant today, Dr. Gerald Stevens, The Gift. The Gift, Dr. Gerald Stevens.
I am lost. I am lost. I am hiking Yosemite National Park from Glacier Trail. The end destination is Half Dome. It is dusk. I can barely see the trail. That is how I got lost. Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, I see no trail markers. What am I going to do? I see a small deer trail that goes up a ridge. Guess I'll follow that. So I follow my way up the ridge, and I get to the top of the ridge, and there's a small meadow there with purple and white wildflowers. Looks beautiful. But I see something skitter through the woods on my left, and then on my right. Then I look straight ahead. I see a large boulder and a giant timber wolf on top of the boulder. It's gray with a black tail. I think, as I look around, all these wolves are closing in on me. I'm going to be somebody's meal. I better be ready to fight or flight. But then, the timber wolf on the boulder spoke to me. He said, I am your spirit guide. My name is Trevor. Who has ever heard of a wolf named Trevor? Maybe Ghost or Storm, something more manually. I don't know. Probably that I got. He said, "Follow me to your destiny." I looked around at the wolves and I thought, well, my alternative destiny is to be eaten. So I'm going to follow my spirit guide to my destiny. And so I did. I followed him. And he led me to a cave. It was dark as pitch. Enter the cave, and you will achieve your greatest desire. Destiny and greatest desire sounds pretty good. Also looks pretty dangerous. In my mind, I thought, well, what could be my greatest desire in this cave? Could it be gold, silver, diamonds? Maybe there's a grizzly bear in there. This could be something crazy. What other choice do I have again? All these wolves are looking at me. So into the cave I went. And it was dark and I couldn't see. And I was feeling the side of the cave. It was wet. And I was inching forward little by little, so making sure I didn't fall off a cliff. The cave narrowed and got smaller. But then I saw a small light in the distance. And then the cave opened up. And that small light was a little fire. And on top of that fire was a cauldron. And above that fire with the cauldron was a scraggly haired, black haired lady mixing a brew of some kind, a witch if I ever saw one, beckoning me forward. The witch says, "My name is Candy." Candy? Who's ever heard of a witch named Candy? I've heard of a stripper named Candy, but I've never heard of a witch named Candy. So in the end, the witch said, "Bring me an offering for the pot, and you will achieve your greatest desire." Trevor, you have failed me as a spirit guide. You gave me no heads up that I was supposed to bring an offering at all. I thought, well, what the heck do I have in my backpack? So let's take a look and see what I got. Well, I opened up my backpack. I said, well, let's see. Got some toilet paper. I don't know if this is valuable, mind you, in the woods. But I don't think probably good for the cauldron. So, what else do I have? Oh, look, I have a flashlight. This would have been really useful a few minutes ago. Darn it, what am I doing? What could be a good offering? Oh, look, egg salad sandwich. That appears to be the only thing of use in this backpack. I will offer this for an offering, I said to Candy. Is that the best you can do in today's economy? And I just looked at her and said, pretty much. So I threw the egg salad into the cauldron and it melted away in purple and blue muck. And she scooped up something and said, "Drink, you must drink." Drink that? It looks disgusting. In fact, it smells pretty bad too. I thought, well, back in the day in college, I did a few cake stands. Maybe I could just drink it down in one. So I closed my eyes and I drank it down in one. I thought, okay, I'm going to achieve my greatest desire. Hopefully when I open my eyes, I will see a Ferrari, maybe a mansion, be in some exotic land. When I opened my eyes, I saw that I was on the top of Half Dome. I was no longer lost. And then I thought, what a rip. I am no longer lost. I want something more than this. So I went back again looking for the cave and the spirit guide and the witch. I never found them. And I then thought about it retrospectively. I received the gift of life and happiness, and what more could I ever want? Madam Contest.
2 minutes of silence, please. 2 minutes of silence. Back to the black screen and then green when we hit 2 minutes.
And that is 2 minutes of silence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Timer, Mr. Head Timer. Our timer in the room has the forms for our chief judge for timing. So Mike, you don't have to worry about submitting anything. Marty has the timing forms. Any judges need more time? Just show of hands. Any judges? Okay. Our chief judge will collect the ballots. So judges, please tear off that bottom portion as you've been instructed, and the chief judge or the counters will collect those. And then our chief judge and counters will go into the conference room once all the ballots have been collected. Be sure to sign them. Thank you, everybody. This concludes the contest portion. We will announce the results after we do some interviews. And now that the contests are over, we'll take time to chat with our contestants. And we'll go in the order that they spoke. All right, all ballots have been collected. No? Yes? Not yet. We'll wait. I'm sorry, I thought when they went towards the room, they had everything. Actually, for this interview portion, it kind of makes sense to be in front of this lectern, but I don't feel like moving it again. So we'll just stay right here. For the interview portion, I think we'll hand the microphone back and forth to chit chat, if that sounds okay with everybody, so you're aware. We'll just do that. Okay, the judges are finished. So now let's move into the interviews while the counters are tallying. Our first contestant today, representing AM Lockport at the international contest in 2 weeks, Eric Schneider. Eric, come on up. Great job today.
I just want to say something, Jared. I thought you were going to say, for your greatest destiny, I thought you turned into an egg salad sandwich.
What's your favorite kind of sandwich? That wasn't on my. What's your favorite kind of sandwich? Egg salad or no?
No, growing up, it was ketchup sandwich, but I know that sounds pretty bland.
Plain ketchup?
Oh, yeah, plain ketchup.
Eric, tell us what you put ketchup on. It's everything, guys.
Oh, it's everything. Broccoli, I know. Surprise, anyway.
All right, so the quote that you put on here is from Amanda Gorman. She's a poet laureate. And so if you could share with us, some of us heard this before, why this is your favorite quote. What is the quote and why is it one of your favorites? Here's the microphone.
Thank you, Kate. The quote I used that 2 years ago, that quote was used at the presidential inauguration, and that struck me in the personal aspect because I have too been brave enough to overcome so many challenges in my life, and that we all need to take account for. With having a learning disability and taking on many, many challenges, I never would have thought that I would made it this far in my life. Going back to school, having a job, having an apartment, a car, all those perks of how well I've worked hard for, and brave enough to do 42 rounds of platelets. But that quote just struck out to me because that's what I feel like I have done in my life. The quote is, "There is always light if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it." So I always take that quote with me because there's always light at the end of the tunnel for me. And I think we all should learn from that as human beings.
You are a light to all of us, Eric. Thank you so much. You always bring a smile to our faces. Thank you, Eric. Bravo. Okay, our second contestant today who spoke, but our first contestant in Tall Tales was Thomas Heldwine. Thomas, come on up. to the lectern area. I guess that's lectern area, that works. Notable accomplishments. I feel like we've gotten to know each other over a few years, but I had no idea. This means you did this. Thomas has 5 patents in his name. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this actually is kind of the funny because it's the only thing that comes up when you search my name on the internet. There's no way to hide that from social presence. That's like a national record. That's one of the few things that actually does come up. And they were for the oil industry. I'm a mechanical engineer, so it was unique ways of getting stuff into this tall metal tube and getting it, attached and supported inside in order to make C4 chemicals like propane and propylene split. So we have propane gas for our grills or our hunting cabins, and we have propylene, the little white pellets that make up plastic.
I understood half of that. That's fascinating. I would love to hear more about that in the future. I know that I learn from you every time that we talk. You make me laugh too. You're a light for all of us. I love your quote. Please tell us about that. Similar to what Eric said. What's the quote and why are you inspired by it?
All right. So I'm a child of the 70s and into the early 80s. So as a child, I loved Star Wars. And one of the best quotes is from a little tiny guy named Yoda. And he said, "Do or do not. There is no try." And that's kind of a mantra for a lot of things that we do. You don't try to change a tire. You don't try, you can try maybe to make brownies and fail, but you made something, and if no one else likes them, you can always just eat them yourself. And one of the things I wanted to do was talk about my other cousin, Douglas, who was born in 1920, and he was so big that he couldn't find a bed big enough to sleep in. So he actually was so big and buoyant, he slept in Lake Erie. The Heldwines were actually in Western New York, so he would sleep in Lake Erie. And then World War II came up, and in 1945, he was in the United States Navy. Now, he was so big he wouldn't fit, so they tattooed USS Missoula on the side of his arm. You know where I'm going. He was in the Pacific Ocean, in the Pacific Theater. He was at Iwo Jima. He was out there floating. He was literally a cargo ship. They would pour, just pile stuff up on his belly. He had a little mast coming out of his belly button with a flag. Well, they needed a flag for the top of Iwo Jima for that great famous photo. Well, it came from the USS Missoula out of his belly button. And he got it up there because he was so big and lazy, he actually just took an elevator to the top.
That's great. That's another side chapter of your contest speech. I love it. Thank you so much, Thomas. Great job. There was more to the story. I can't wait to hear more of that. All right, David Licata. David, come on up. He was so good at guiding me how to pronounce devotee or devotee. It doesn't matter, he said. Well, what do? I still flubbed it. So thank you very much for giving us a wonderful speech today. And I think the same thing. Let's go right into the quote that you had. And you have to take the microphone so our folks online can hear you.
Katie, in my long Toastmaster career, which is, forever, I have assembled so many books with quotes in them because I think quotes help a speech. Fortunately, when I was sitting down at the dining room table, putting my thoughts together last night, for Christmas, I got yet another book of quotes, and I could grab this book without getting up and going to my library. So I said, okay, and I grabbed the book and I went, oh yeah, sure, Paul McCartney, why not? And it was a big thing when that song came out, All You Need Is Love. And this is Paul McCartney's reflection on it. He said, I still believe that love is all you need. I don't know a better message than that. So you caught me, Katie. I was lazy and I just did the Paul McCartney thing. So I slept, I just took it easy.
Took it easy. Well, I loved your appearance today, and you really embraced and took us somewhere with your costume and accent. I would ask, gosh, I have so many questions. We have so little time. San Giuseppe, was there any element of this, even though it was highly exaggerated and improbable, any element of this on the true side for you?
One little bit of truth is my grandma Fonzie's maiden name was Angeloni. So I worked it in. Yeah, I worked it in. Oh, and she was from Aguila. She was from that neighborhood. And we just celebrated the 111th anniversary of Paul Fonzie, my grandpa, arriving in America at Ellis Island.
Bravo to that. We can't get any better than that. An excellent anniversary. I feel like we probably could wrap up, except maybe. I meant wrap up with David. Yeah. We have so much time. It's a wonderful thing. I was going to ask, maybe what's next for you? What's next?
Well, Katie, you're going to be sorry you asked that question. I have hemifacial spasms, doctor. And I shared with the doctor, this lovely woman of Indian origin from the subcontinent. And we got laughing so hard, even though she's putting 5 shots of Botox into my face. And I do that every 12 weeks, but now I'm used to it. But I said to her when I got done, I said that I got a notice from Casting Buffalo that they had going to do another movie. And they described that, but the ceiling on it was 60 years old. Well, I'm 74. And when I got all done, God bless her heart, I said, well, she said, well, how's your acting career coming? And I said, well, there's a thing, but I'm too old. Then I said to her, I said, do you think I could pass for 60? She goes, oh, yeah. So I sent in my headshots. I sent in my theatrical resume. I sent in my proof of vaccination. And the very next day, I was invited to audition. And thanks to my son, Mike, we didn't kill each other. We got the video together. It's only 2 lines, but the long journey begins with the first step. So please keep me in your prayers, because I wouldn't mind doing this at all. And from the name of the movie, I can tell you, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be down in East Aurora with the Hallmark folks.
Bravo, Giuseppe. Thank you so much. Okay, our final contestant speaking today was Dr. Gerald Stevens. Dr. Stevens, come on up. Thank you so much. Oh, excellent quote. Why not? We've been starting with quotes the whole time. So here's what you wrote if you'd like to talk at all about the quote you shared.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters again. My quote is from Margaret Mead. Never doubt a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed is the only thing that ever has. Love that quote. I have it on my emails for different things at work and my Gmail as well at the bottom. Love that, because I really do feel like any type of volunteer thing, it's always a few people that do everything, right? Sometimes even Toastmasters to some degree, but I know at the chiropractic realm, we recently got a bill passed that actually was started here. Only a few group of concerned citizens that came to Senator Ord here, right here in Lockport, and I got his support. This was 5 years ago. It was an opioid bill. So now all medical doctors have to discuss other options other than opioids, which I think is a pretty nice thing. So they have to discuss options like physical therapy, massage therapy, chiropractic, things like that, because opioid addiction is a big thing out there. So that was pretty cool that we started it right here in Lockport. Just a few, John Syracuse used to be your county legislator. And he met, and we had some other people from the Buffalo area and started right there. A lobbyist came, and I think she was trying to do damage control truthfully because they didn't want to do a bill. They really didn't. And they said, we're gonna do it anyway. So she came, and from there it was just developed with some research and a few other people that got involved. And, you know, hopefully to make a difference. So I thought that was pretty cool. That kind of tied dovetail to that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Stevens. I appreciate that. I feel like talking about that is so important. I was just reading statistics. We all have heard about opioid influence and impact, and we had a very funny speech today in contest. So this isn't a funny topic at all, and it hits everybody. Everybody in here has heard about issues. There's almost 100 overdoses in this country every day, almost 100, and that's insane when we're looking at how much it hits every county in America. Doesn't matter the class, doesn't matter where, it's huge, especially in rural areas. And I just heard from a teacher yesterday, and I'm from little tiny Newfane, and they said, remember when we were kids and, you know, the kids you heard about going to get drugs, they'd always go to the big cities. The kids from the cities are going to the country schools now and reaching out and getting things. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's insane what is out there. And I even just driving by my little tiny town Newfane school, on the front board they had, because it's not opioids as much as vaping, and it literally on the front board of the school said, quit vaping, save money, on the school billboard part, not billboard, but those boards that they have in front of the school. And I thought, gosh, that's supposed to be announcements about, you know, the football team or the school play or something like that. It has to be quit vaping, save money. New Year's resolutions for the teenagers. So it is a few people that can make a difference. So this all comes back to your quote about never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can make change. Indeed, that is all that ever has. And we are an amazing group. And thank you for being the leader of our group this year. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Stevens. Okay, I do have to get over to look at the results and then get prepared to present those results. Jackie has some, I suppose I should say, Chief Judge, are we finally ready? Are we final and ready?
I need you to just go over that and make sure.
Perfect. Thank you for
Okay.
saying that.
And of course, the result for the international contest is Eric won.
Bravo, Eric. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so I can ask you, have there been any timing disqualifications?
There was a timing disqualification.
Okay, thank you. We don't identify the disqualification, but there has been a disqualification. Okay, I guess we can stay up here. That's all I need. I saw that delivery. Are we good to go? All right, I would love to the certificates are also on my table. I'll give you those to you afterwards. We have plenty of time for a photo opportunity, but we'll announce our winners and then do those kinds of PR things afterwards. Would you like to actually announce it? I think I'll hand you the microphone as our chief judge. She did a lot of work in the background. Huge applause to our chief judge, Jim.
Our second place winner is Thomas Heldwine. Our first place is David Licata.
Great job. Thank you so much. Great job. I have to fill out the certificates since I only just heard the results right now. So bravo, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Good contact.
Good, very good contact.
Good tall tale.
We've laughed a lot today. Yes, we enjoyed them very much.
And can I say something? Gerald once did, you made me think of it when you talked about the drug problem in this country. Gerald did 2 TV shows with me at the Mental Health Association talking about the drug crisis in this country. He did a very good job explaining what caused it, where it came from, why it started happening, and also talking about alternatives. And it's on a DVD if anybody wants to borrow it and watch it, if you have a DVD player. I don't know if I can have them put it back on the on-demand, but I'll find out about that, because it's a topic that just isn't going away, sadly.
It's not going away. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, dig that out if you could. We applaud you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I misspoke too. I think I said 100 overdose. I meant 100 passed away because they overdosed. Well more than 100 overdose every day in this country. It's just really sad. I think that's inspiration for some of our future international topics. Like we can be more inspirational to one another. We started with a beautiful inspiration from Nancy Rose all the way to our close now. I saw that also Thomas was maybe tallying the split club tickets back there. Thomas, were you working, or Beth was working? Beth as treasurer would do that. So I would say you come up, and Dave, come up, because you're the winner of our tall tales that I keep calling table topics. All right, so we have winners today.
Okay, before we pick, we have a little conundrum because there is $19 here and there are 12 tickets in there. Is there someone here who needs some change?
Oh, I do. No, wait, you gave me one, and then you guys took it, right? No, it wasn't just me then, because I didn't make a $7 error.
Well, my mother knows best.
Donation to the club.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Don't we?
Okay.
I did it. I totally did it. That's- I've been here so long, I forgot how to tell
Would you like some money back?
I did it wrong.
The final three numbers, it's a 6, 2 and 7, 6, 2, 7. Did I win? Did I win? Oh, I won.
Mean it, Jan. It's been that much.
Nancy's up for the Maryland Beam Award.
Because Marilyn used to win a lot, I guess, for anybody that didn't get that joke. No, I did that wrong. I'll do it right next time. Gosh, I don't have an agenda prepared. I don't know how to do split club. What am I, new? Oh my goodness gracious. Well, is there anybody on Zoom who would like to share anything, since we have Jen and Phil and Mike on Zoom? Mike, great job as timer today. You are well prepared to be timer in the future. And then, awesome. And then Phil and Jen, were they off screen by choice, or had you put them off screen? For Zoom contests, the audience is always off screen, so I thought maybe that was the choice. Thank you, Phil and Jen, for being here. Jen's gone. She went up to work. Phil, thank you again. Please give feedback to Eric. And I think do you want to come back up to conclude the meeting, or have any further announcements? Oh yeah, who's our Toastmaster next week? Do we have that situated yet? Len, would you like to share any words?
There is a new schedule coming out, I promise. Either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. I haven't designated who will be Toastmaster of next week's meeting. Is there anybody who wishes to volunteer from the audience to be Toastmaster? Okay, it'll be a random thing. No, Gerald, you volunteer for way too much, you know. You're the role holder of last resort. I think you feel that obligation as president, but we're gonna give you a break. So we will pick somebody, and they will have at least a week to assemble the meeting. Mike, they're asking if you wanna be Toastmaster next week. The entire room is coalescing around that suggestion. I can't
Me?
highlight you because I'm away from the PC.
Sure.
Okay, all right. Mike Florio, do you have a theme yet? You have a theme?
I do.
I'm kidding. Mike Florio will be Toastmaster. That's all we know at this point. Stay tuned to your email. Back to you, Katie.
Thank you so much, Len. Great meeting, great contest. We'll see you next week, everybody.